quickly the recording and let's switch here the slide. Our topic today is RGB to multicolor with GMG Brilliant Colors and Process Stability. So as you may heard in the industry, there's a lot of discussions regarding multicolor and ECG printing and so on. And we want to bring a bit of clarification today about that different slogans and what's behind multicolor, which advantages do you have, and what does GMG supply to have a good multicolor workflow in your own company. So our agenda for today will be firstly, of course, intro and define what is really multicolor or extended color gamut printing. So there are a lot of different slogans. We want to bring light into that and talk about the claim multicolor itself, and then we will go to the way to successful extended color gamut printing. So I will show you in some quick steps how you can set up a multicolor process made for your own company or in your own business. At the end, as you see, there will be a small sneak preview, a small live demo about one of our products. It's a function from the GMG Color plugin, what is not released yet, but because it's so perfect fitting to that topic, we want to show it to you also today at the end of the session. Yeah, as most of you know GMG already, we are proofing and color management experts. We're doing this more than 30 years right now, have more than 12,000 installations, and of course 130 employees worldwide, and academy training centers all over the world, nearly, where you're participating today in one of our webinars. So that was a quick overview regarding GMG, who we are, and that you know who is talking to you. My name is Johannes Betz. I'm here responsible for our trainings and GMG Academy. And with GMG, since 2016. And before, I've been on different sites in flexography and Media University, and I have been a gravure printer at the beginning. So in Flexo, there's a lot of discussion regarding ECG those days. Sometimes positive, sometimes negative, and we want to now get into the topic and define what is really multicolor. So you see a broad, I would say, collection of different wordings regarding the multicolor topic. So there's expanded gamut printing, ECG, fixed palette printing, multicolor printing, whatever. So a lot of different terms. And is there a general definition? Yeah, you can define extended gamut printing or multicolor printed if you say you have a gamut which is wider or bigger than Craycall in the US or ISO 12647, the general ISO norm for offset printing. Then you can talk about expanded gamut. And so you can order it below multicolor, what means having more than the process colors CMYK on your press. A lot of them are marketing terms, and for the session today also we want to use multicolor or expanded gamut printing. Which different cases do we have in the industry? Firstly, high-end commercial production. That's, I would say, the most rare case. So it's not very often found, but for example, in offset printing, when you print books or magazines and you want to have really brilliant colors and high saturation, may CMYK as after ISO 12647 is not enough, and you want to use additional colors like orange green, for example, or you want to extend your gamut and have more brilliant colors for your magazine and books. That's are very special use cases where you normally pay more money for your print job, and also the customer has to pay more. What's much more often in discussion is in the packaging area. Therefore, it's other way around. You want to save money or save time and costs on your press side, because normally you have for each different job a separate ink set on your press. With multicolor or ECG, you have a fixed ink set on your press for your daily production, and you will not change in any inks for a separate customer job. So therefore, it's more about standardization of your processes and time saving during setup your presses. In digital printing, it's quite normal to have a standard, I would say a standard press setup, so CMYK, and often when you use it for high quality prints or in packaging printing, you have also additional colors for fixed color setup and have so on a multicolor case or an extended color gamut case for digital printing. And now it becomes interesting when you, what we want to focus today is, of course, standardize your press configuration. So that's the packaging case we want to have a focus today. So use process inks for spot colors. That means not use CMYK for spot color, I mean you use process inks. So if you, for example, use orange, green, and violet, these are also your process inks if you use them every day. Also then combined jobs are possible because you have the same ink set on your press. And conversions between digital and conventional processes are much easier when you have fixed ink sets on your presses. So as you know, in Flexo normally you change each color for each job. If you have a fixed ink set on your Flexo press and on a digital press, it's easier to change and convert jobs from one to another technique. Before we go on, we have a lot of participants today. I want to make a quick survey. So what are your touch points with multicolor already? So I launch a quick survey for everybody. You should see now within the next seconds. And maybe you can just answer, how are your touch points with multicolor? So are you in touch with illustration printing, so that high class offset processes which are more expensive, or you use it for packaging printing, so flexo, gravure, or in digital printing, so where you convert then between conventional presses and digital, or you're not used any or has had no touch points with multicolor yet in your daily business. So that are the four options you have to answer. You can also multi-select normally different options, and 75% already voted. And we got a winner nearly, so 50%, and now we have 82% voted. I'll say let's wait some seconds and then I will present you also the result so we can see today we have 120 participants joining here the session, and yeah, I would say now 86 voted. I would say I close it and I want to share with you the results. So as you can see, 52%, more than half of you are get in touch with multicolor in packaging area, and 20% in illustration printing for high quality offset jobs, 30% digital, and 14 not yet. So different than in the German market. It's always interesting, but more than a half of you already are in touch with it for packaging and flexographic printing. Okay, let's go on in the topic. So after we defined what we understand under multicolor or extended color gamut printing, so ECG, we go further how to set up a successful extended color gamut printing. First, you should choose the method for your process. So we will see that later. Do you use only one color to extend CMYK, or maybe just high pigment inks? So you have to know and decide how you want to extend your gamut for your printing process. You have to choose the inks for the extension. So if you choose an orange or a red or a blue or violet, then you have to characterize your press. Of course, when you choose your inks for the extension, then you make a test print, measure what are the results of your printing press, and you know how your press reacts. You evaluate your color space, and later on, then you define the pre-press workflow for reseparation. And I say the choose of the gamut inks for the extension and the pre-press workflow changes are the most important points here. So firstly, which inks to choose and how to separate, and then how to update my workflows in the pre-press departments, and the whole workflows, how to set them up and change them when I use ECG processes. That are the main 2 points. At the end, of course, you evaluate the quality of your ECG prints, but of course we always evaluate the quality of our print results normally. So start with choose method for extended gamut printing. May you heard from XCMYK. Dare you not add any orange, green or blue, you just print with high pigmented inks. So CMYK with a very high pigmentation, or to reach higher density in your CMYKs, and so have a wider gamut. So here you see the blue body is ISO coded 12647, and the web is the XCMYK standard from the US. Normally more popular in the US than in Europe. In Europe, or generally, another possibility is to choose maybe only one ink to extend. If your customer jobs are mostly in the orange-red area, added spot colors, then this is maybe a good opportunity for you to just add one color. And you see also here the blue body is ISO coded 12647, and the web is then your extended color gamut. In most cases, you use, of course, 3 inks to extend your gamut. So it's CMYK plus orange, green, and violet. That's very typical. And you see here the white web is ISO coded 12647, and the small dots are our ECG gamut. So these are really measured flexo print where we used green, orange, and a violet blue here to extend our gamut. So you get a very, very huge gamut for your printing process. First question is always how to choose the right inks for the extension. If you look in the industry, normally you find the bold marked colors here. So for the orange-red area, most of the customers in the print houses use orange 21C. Then green is Pantone Green C only, and blue or violet is normally a Pantone Violet or Pantone Reflex Blue. Here we suggest better to use a violet, but it's depending always on your processes and your customer jobs. If you have more jobs with blue, maybe blue is better to expand your gamut than violet. But violet gives the wider gamut. We will see that in some slides, or on the next slide already, what are the differences regarding the ink you choose. So evaluation of the extended gamut ink set. The evaluation you will see in some seconds are done with GMG Open Color, so you can make evaluations, compare what will happen when I add such Pantone inks to expand the gamut. So what you see here on the left side, are the complete Pantone colors, Pantone Plus coded, and also Pantone Plus coded 336. This was released not so long ago, so quite new Pantone book. And then you see the different separations. So CMYK is the black tower here, and you see 1,280 colors can be reproduced already with CMYK. What does this mean? 1,280 colors can be reproduced. When I separate those colors from Pantone with CMYK, I have 1,280 colors below 2 delta E 2000, which can be reproduced. So that's already a lot with just CMYK. But maybe there's too much missing, so you add orange, green, violet, and you have quite more, so you can reach 1,578. More than with blue and more than with red, as you can see here. So that's the reason why most printers, or when you think about ECG printing, multicolor printing, you use OGV to expand. But maybe your customer jobs are more in the red area, blue area, you have to see, then maybe this extension would be better for you. But such evaluations can be done, for example, with Open Color, where you can check also for your particular process. So when you made a test print and so on, you can make evaluations how much Pantone colors are in your process already. So as already mentioned, when you define which inks you choose for your extension, you have to characterize your press. So make a characterization. Before you make a characterization, be sure that your press conditions are controlled and repeatable, because every color management is not good or worth it if your daily conditions changing very quickly. So make sure from shift to shift or from press run to press on, your conditions are as, I would say, as similar as possible. So yeah, you have to look on TVI, inks, register, press configuration, etc., etc. When you're sure that your print conditions for each day the same, then you can go further, make your test print. Of course, you cannot use this, I would say, the standard test charts. Use multicolor test charts or mini strips, as here with GMG Open Color, you can use mini strips to make your test charts, your test run. And first question always is, okay, when I go to the RIP, which screen angles? Then normally you use the complementary ink. So for orange, you use the angle as for cyan, for green as for magenta, and for blue and violet as yellow or black. Then for the setup on the press of your CMYK values, you can check also according ISO 12647-2. That's normally for offset, but also flexo printers look on that ISO norm to set up their CMYK values. And for the extension inks, of course, look on your press, I would say ink manufacturer, what they are, suggest you to set up your inks. Then you measure and evaluate, of course, and create your own in-house standard. So now you know how your press with CMYK plus orange, green, violet, for example, are prints. And you have your gamut. So here again, we see the blue web is ISO coded 12647 or Fogra 39, also very well known. And the bigger hull here, the bigger gamut is your process. In that case, flexo. So a lot more colors can be reproduced in the blue area and in the red and green area. The thing is, when you make your characterization, you need it to reseparate your images, and for proofing also when something is changing on the press side. So for example, you use other inks as your standard ink set, or your press, you're changing from press A to press B, then you always have to make a new test print. Or you use clever tools which can simulate different conditions. So as of course with GMG you have open color to predict different results. For example, when you change the substrate or you change the ink sequence, you can simulate this with open color without making a separate test print. Also, you can use smaller test strips which you can place at the side of your normal print jobs and make easier characterizations through that tool from us. So much about characterization, and now you know how your press is working with your expanded color gamut set. And you can go further and make profiles. You make profiles, of course, for proofing and for separation. And GMG Open Color can give you both, of course. We firstly concentrate maybe on the left side. So Open Color delivers proof profiles for color proof, and you can make hard copy proofs, which spot colors included in the separation. On the other hand, you not only want to proof, you also want to use the information from your press really for separation. So you separate your images in Photoshop with the GMG color plugin, or you separate complete PDFs with other softwares like hybrid packs. So in packs you can also convert from a lot of spot colors to a fixed color gamut. I have to say color server not yet, it's CMYK limited, so in that case just plugin or hybrid packs are the possible tools here to use your information from Open Color also for the separation. So you have both proof and separation. Then there's always the question, okay, the title of the webinar today was RGB, or is RGB too multicolor? Why RGB? I want to show you this in a small example here. So start with an sRGB image. Also in our small demo we will have in some minutes, we start with an RGB image. And normally agencies and paper houses convert firstly to CMYK, mostly with ISO coded volume 2. As you see, a lot of saturation is lost already, and it's more, I would say, darker and grayish. And when you now convert directly into a 7C process, still it's not better. If you convert directly, you can keep maybe a lot of saturation and colors from your originally RGB. So it's better to go direct if you thinking about multicolor processes than convert over ISO-coded volume 2. Also, if you not have ECG processes, it's better to go from RGB directly in your print conversion. So, of course, as I see in the comments, a media neutral workflow. So we just looked on pictures yet. Of course, if you make separations now with a fixed color setup on your press, ECG or multicolor, always also check how to handle text, logos, and backgrounds. So graphic stuff like EIN codes or here nutrition facts, you have to check, of course, because they was maybe set up previously in a Pantone blue spot color. Right now they have to be set up in a new separation. So clever separation rules are very important. Therefore, again, this is an open color function where you can set up separation rules. On the left-hand side, you see the input inks. So what's normally sent by your agency in the files, in the PDF, so the different Pantone colors. And this blue can be maybe that Pantone color. And that's your output inks. Of course, open color checks how big is the difference from your input to your output, and you can set up new separation rules. So, of course, your text elements have to maybe build up only with one color or two colors to reach a very low delta E value. All right, but yeah, open color is a big tool. 30 minutes are not enough to show you everything here. And I, of course, want to give you that small sneak preview in our GMG color plugin, the GMG channel extender. So that's a new function, not released yet, but I want to show you how it works. So we start from an RGB image. And firstly, also we look at the image with the soft proof settings in Photoshop with RGB. Then, of course, you made already your characterization in open color and have your open color project and the ECG project what you already set up. And open color takes now firstly the source profile from the image. So for example, Adobe RGB. In a demo today, we will have sRGB, but yeah, it takes the RGB source profile and calculates firstly an ECG preview profile. So that profile will be used to show you directly in Photoshop. So the image is still in RGB, but it shows you how it will look in a 7-colored or 6-colored or 5-colored process. Then you can make adjustments like color boost, vibrance, and saturation. And yeah, use the normal Photoshop inbuilt functions to make changes. When you satisfied, you can then convert with an ECG separation profile directly from open color from your RGB image to your multicolor image. And here, okay, there is no blue or violet. Why not? Because we not need it in the image really. That's what I want to show you now directly. Of course, you can also preview that because Photoshop does not show spot colors very proper. We created our own preview and give a LAB image to preview it directly in Photoshop and then the file to print, of course. So enough PowerPoint slides. Let's switch into Photoshop. And most of you already have seen our GMG color plugin. If not, that it is. It's an extension for Photoshop, which directly connects in the background to GMG Open Color. So in that webinar today, we will just look on the color plugin, of course, and we will have a new function here. It's got a sneak preview, not released yet, the channel extender. And as you see, there's happening already something in the background. Okay, now the window is still there. Maybe I move it away again. Sorry. So let's open the window again. And we already have our preview. So very quick done. In the background, the information about how it will look already took from open color. So I can set it off. So this is sRGB. This is our ECG preview. So the image is still in sRGB, but we can see here GMG preview ECG. It's one preview we already have. So you can also check what does it helps, or what does it bring the image when I use orange? I can deactivate the orange, and hopefully you also see the difference between using an orange or not using an orange. So it's much more saturated if you extend or expand the gamut here. The green is maybe only in the background. And also you can boost a bit the colors in your image. If you say, okay, I have an ECG process, I want a much more saturation in the oranges here, then you can boost it. Again, check what does it bring. We don't use the violet here. Why? Because the violet has not really an effect on that image, and there is no violet in that image, so we don't need it in that particular image. Okay, let me go back here, and now we can say okay, and it's now will be converted into a 6-color image from RGB directly. So you not have to go over ISO-coded CMYK. You can convert directly into that 6-color image. Needs some seconds, but normally for that process, the operator needs some hours. All right, so already done. As you can see, we have now CMYK and of course Pantone 021. So what we have seen before, so 021C and Pantone green in the areas here and the background. We only did that in the layers. So for the background not. So see, it's just here in the oranges and the green areas. We now used that 2 colors to expand our image gamut. And as already mentioned, the I would say display mode of Photoshop regarding spot colors is not quite proper, as you see also in the preview images. So we made our own preview. When you go here and open color preview, again, it's the correct project chosen. CMYK, we have orange and a green, and you can say okay, and then have also your image as a preview. Need some seconds, and this file you also can save and send to the customer and show how your image later will look like in your ECG process. That's for images here, but you can make also comparisons. So you compare to CMYK ISO-coded images or whatever to make your adjustments with the plugin here. So right now we have an LIB image for previewing, really the orange part here, much more saturated than at the beginning. So this was quite quickly what is multicolor and which possibilities you have with the GMG tools. I see there are some questions, but quickly go back to the presentation. And we're nearly at the end, but what I want to show you, if you are now interested and say, okay, I want to know more, of course, we have some trainings here in Tübingen at 22nd of March. We have a GMG Open Color training where we consider, of course, proofing with open color, but also separation. And when you talk about separation, we also talk about ECG. So if you have more interest, then go on our website. There you'll find all our trainings, of course, but I guess you also saw it in the newsletter, what is coming up. Therefore, go here in Go to Training on your right-hand window side. You find normally the materials window of Go to Training where you find links, where you can then directly get leads to our website or also to the FOCRA website, what we are seeing the next slide. But here, academy@gmgcolor.com. Please don't hesitate to write us if you have further questions or remarks for today. Also, GMG is on the 28th of February and the 1st of March on the FOCRA Color Management Symposium in Munich. May, if you have time and not so far away, this will be a possibility for you. Here also the topic multicolor, extended color gamut printing, but also Jürgen Seitz and myself, we talk about proofing and other important topics of the printing industry. All right, now we had some questions. I cannot come back to all of them. One question is, who is in charge to do this transformation? I'm not sure. Printers are very confident to receive PDFX for RGB files indeed. Yeah, okay, so how are the files supplied to the printers normally? Still, we are working not medium neutral, was the remark before. So mostly it's already converted in CMYK. Then there is the possibility to convert back or make some corrections. Of course, communication is the biggest point here. If you set up an RGB workflow for ECG printing, it's in a quality case best, in a color case, but you have to see already how are your workflows and what you can change. Okay, there are a lot of questions coming in. I cannot answer all questions. As said, we are a lot of participants today. Maybe pick one more out of all the questions. Okay, maybe that one. Can color plugin analyze an image and pick Pantone colors to use? So that it's done in I understand it like this, that normally the image is a set of RGB, of course, and our logic, the background, the color management chooses how much orange, for example, in the sample, what we saw today, to bring in which areas to get a really good color match to your originally source RGB space. So here just the target is RGB, of course, so reach with your output image what is the ECG process as best as possible your RGB image. So of course, if your customer assigned ISO coded CMYK process, then there is maybe a different workaround important for you. Okay, but yeah, I can't, as said, we can't look on all questions, but I promise we come back, we will answer the questions per email. And for today, I just can say thank you very much for your attention. And hopefully you could take a lot to daily practice and are fascinated by the products of GMG and our solutions we offer you. And yeah, maybe see you then later on another webinar or another training. Have a nice evening.